Hey, what's going on, everybody? How many of you guys needed another Journal Chronicles? I mean, it's been so much going on lately. I need more wisdom. I need more guidance, and I need it now. I woke up this morning like, dude, we gotta get in front of this camera. We gotta get one of these books open. Yeah, threw my hoodie on. Decided to just let the hair flow today. We need to get into this. I was so tempted to come on here and get into this elephant journal, but something told me, said I need the OG. I need the old school. So we're gonna open this up, get right into it. We're gonna find us a buried treasure. We're gonna find what we need in this season, and here we go. Come on, God, lead us. June 30th, 2016. 2016 at 10:30 a.m. This one says, knowing what something is not the same as knowing how something feels. Knowing what something is not the same as knowing how something feels. This was about being the giver. Knowing what something is not the same as knowing how something feels. I'm gonna come back to that. Nothing's really hitting me on that right now, so I'll come back to it. What else do we have here? So be brave, don't be controlled. This came in on my Sabbath. Be brave, don't be controlled. This, I remember this, and it hits me now to remind me that, especially now with my emotions, I think what I'm seeing other people do and I'm seeing myself do is try to control our emotions, try to control our ourselves and keep ourselves from spazzing out, from crying. We're trying to keep the emotion from coming out, and that's not bravery. Bravery is honestly in the transparency and the full expression of who we are at any given moment. Now, there's a healthy way to let emotions come out and a non-toxic way to let them come out. But what what this insert from my journal is even bringing up to me is that instead of seeking to control things, I need to seek to manage myself, managing my thoughts, managing my emotions, managing my gate. The gate is where I let things into me that could affect me to spark up an emotion or spark up a feeling. Ear gates, eye gates, you've heard this before, how things enter into our body. Even energies, those just enter into you through a different realm. So what I watch, what I listen to, and who I'm around, all those things can influence me. It's like secondhand smoke. That's not something that you see or you hear, but it still has a way of getting inside of you and impacting you. And there's so many different, I guess, diseases that are associated with secondhand smoke. People who don't smoke will still get impacted like they do because it's able to get inside of our bodies. And so that's why I've incorporated that into my gates. Not just what I see, what I hear, but who I'm around. That energy could definitely have an impact on what I believe and how I see things. And ultimately, that's going to birth an emotion or a feeling that I'm going to need to process, that I'm going to need to allow to flow through me. And so if I manage that, then I'll be less likely to try to control these emotions, because usually I tap into trying to control an emotion when I feel like if it comes out, it's going to be bad for business, it's going to be bad for a relationship, it's going to cause me to not experience another benefit that I may have or I may want out of life. And so be brave, don't be controlled. On one side of it is letting me know to let these emotions pass through me, let these feelings pass through me. Because if you have any blocked emotions or blocked feelings, they can form diseases within our body. There's an unsettlement. Emotions weren't meant to be hoarded. Emotions weren't meant to be stored up inside of us like a storage unit. Emotions were meant to come and pass through us. They weren't meant to be our guides. They weren't meant to be the driver's seat of our lives. They weren't meant to have they weren't meant to have major influence in our life. They weren't meant to have the majority vote in our decision making. There's something that we feel in the moment. Our bodies respond to it a certain way based on how we interpret it and what we compare it to in our minds, that situation. And then we say, okay, and we let it pass through. That's what I've learned to be the most healthiest way to deal with emotions and feelings. They're fleeting. They are identifying something for you in your body. They are letting you know something. So they do matter, but they should not be the masters. So the brave thing to do is continue to let that flow out of me, no matter how it may cause me to look at any given moment. I want to let the emotions pass through me whew, because it's healthy. And so that reminded me of the conversation I was having last night with one of my friends, and I cried and I expressed some anger and I cussed and I got these things. I got these thoughts and these emotional words out of me through a specific set of emotions and feelings, and it was healthy. It was good. And I think in order to do that, in order to not feel like I have to control myself, I need to put myself in environments with people who not only accept me for who I am, but honor me for being that way. And that's one thing I have with a few of my friends. They not only accept me, because accepting, saying, cool, you do you, that's cool. But honoring me is they're saying, yes, this is who you are. And I want to best help support your authenticity in the healthiest way possible. And having friends like that is priceless. Having people like that helps you to be brave when it comes to your emotions. Having people like that in your life help you not to feel like you have to have this controlling aspect over your life, your mind, and all that kind of stuff. They actually help you manage your gates. And so I can appreciate people like that. Man, what else do we have here? On the same page, it says faith is seeing beyond what you can feel. Man, faith is seeing beyond. I feel it, but I can't see it. Faith is seeing beyond. Feel it, but can't see it. I think for me, at the beginning of this year, I was watching this sermon from a pastor named Pastor Mike Todd, and he did this series on crazy faith. I believe maybe it was the end of last year. And what are you believing for this year? And I have this list of things that I'm believing God for this year. And I picked some very exceedingly abundantly above what I would normally ask for things. And to see the way 2020 has gone, like I picked the wrong year to ask for these things. I picked the wrong year to believe for these things. I picked the wrong year to hope for these things. I picked the wrong year to put my effort and energy into manifesting like these big life desires. I should have put that off for a different year that seemed more favorable. And wow, I recognize that this is actually the exact year that faith was made for. Faith was made for 2020. Faith was made for obstacles. Faith was made for trials. Faith was made for setbacks. Faith was made for situations where you have no other choice but like desperation or anxiety. And I've learned that in those moments where I feel desperate or I feel anxious or I feel worthless within myself, I recognize that, oh, shoot, another option on the table is faith. And faith is saying, hey, these feelings of desperation and anxiety and worthlessness are based on me looking at my circumstance. But if I look beyond what I can see, which will take faith, there's an opportunity, there's a chance for a miracle. And so that's where I'm at on my faith, believing for a miracle, believing that even in the midst of what seems like is the wrong kind of soil, the wrong kind of environment for me to manifest those big life desires, just believe that a miracle is possible. And I promise, man, I remind myself and I remind you that miracles do happen every day for those who believe. Miracles do happen. They are something that we should associate with and normalize in our life because, man, that is what God has for us. And so when I see faith is seeing beyond what you can see, you can feel it, but you can't see it. It seems weird to say looking beyond what you can see. So because what is beyond what I can see? What I can imagine. What I can imagine is beyond what I can see. My sight is limited, by my imagination is not. And so, yeah, that's good. My sight is limited, but my imagination is not. And the imagination is the mind, and the mind is where we house these hopes and these dreams and these expectations. And yeah, if I can imagine it, it's possible. Yeah. So, I mean, I can go so many different directions, but I'm gonna stop with that because I felt real good to my soul. Today, I am focusing on being brave in the full expression of who I am, managing my thought life, not trying to control myself to preserve something else because what's for me is for me, regardless of how I may respond in any given moment. Well, maybe that's not 100% true. How I respond does matter, but if I'm seeking to do something good and seeking to fully express myself, if I'm seeking to be healthy in a moment, yeah, maybe that can go one or two ways. I will get lost on this tangent. I'm not going to do that right now. That's the word I'm taking with me, to be brave and to manage my thought life and to look beyond what I can see. That's where faith is required. And that's where I can experience a miracle. That's how I set myself up for a miracle. So maybe you needed to look beyond what you can see. Maybe this year has been challenging for you and you keep seeing the political issues, the backlash from all the injustices and the way people choosing to respond, all the deaths that we've experienced this year personally and through our culture. And sometimes we have to get up in the morning and just start looking beyond that. And sometimes we have to set a reminder for our day to look beyond what we can see and continue to imagine, no matter how unlikely a situation may seem, no matter how unlikely it may seem for what you desire to be manifested. Miracles happen. One of my friends always reminded me that late in the midnight hour, God can turn it around. And so if you feel like you're in that midnight hour, you feel like you're in a desperate season, an anxious season, overwhelmed season, a season where you're feeling worthless or a season where you're feeling incapable or inadequate, know that miracles happen. Know that you are a miracle. You're a walking testimony. Know that God is for you and know that you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength, and continue to look beyond what you can see and to say and remind yourself there must be more because God cannot lie. And I'm looking at what's going on and there must be more because God cannot lie. Take God at his word, stand on his word, remind yourself of his promises and look for them. They're there. They may not be easily seen sometimes, but they are there because God cannot lie. So I hope that blessed you today. I needed that word, bravery, manage my thought life, and look beyond what I can see. I hope this blessed you guys. I see you in the next Journal Chronicles.